Financial success means different things to different people. Some seek material riches, while others prioritize security, happiness, or a balanced life. That being said, understanding the various levels of wealth can provide clarity and guidance on your personal financial journey. We often hear about people being wealthy, but what exactly does that mean, and how can you achieve it? Well, we're about to break it down for you in this video. We'll break down the 8 levels of wealth, step by step, providing insights and sharing tips to help you navigate your own financial journey. Let's dive right in. Level 1. Financial dependence. The first level of wealth is where most people start. This is the stage where your basic financial needs are entirely reliant on someone else, whether it's your parents, guardians, or government assistance. At this point, you lack control over your finances and may be subjected to the rules and limitations set by those providing for you. This could be due to being a child or a young adult who is not yet self-sufficient. One of the primary goals when you're at this level is to gain financial independence. This could mean seeking a job even if it's part-time while you're still studying or taking steps to support yourself. Being at this level doesn't necessarily mean leaving behind your support system entirely, but rather gaining some measure of financial autonomy. It's crucial to realize that financial dependence isn't inherently a negative thing, especially when you're young and dependent on your parents for your needs. However, as you grow older, it becomes essential to transition from this level to ensure your financial future. Level 2. Financial solvency. This level marks the beginning of your financial independence. It's the stage where you can cover your basic living expenses without relying on others. However, life at this stage often involves living paycheck to paycheck, leaving little room for savings or investments. You may have landed your first job, and while it's a significant step toward financial independence, it may not be a well-paying job. Financial solvency is a stage where you're starting to build the foundation for your financial future. One of the most critical steps here is to create a budget. Knowing how much you earn, how much you spend, and where you can cut back is vital to making financial progress. Budgeting helps you break the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck, which is a precarious position to be in. It also encourages financial discipline, helping you save for emergencies and future needs. Increasing your income or finding ways to reduce expenses are also key strategies for moving from level 2 to the subsequent levels of wealth. You might consider furthering your education or acquiring new skills to improve your job prospects and income potential. This could also be a good time to establish your first emergency fund, which will provide a safety net for unexpected expenses. Moreover, making wise financial choices such as avoiding accumulating high-interest debt like credit card debt is crucial during this stage. Instead, focus on building good credit, which will be essential in future financial endeavors, and also investing in learning about personal finance. Explore low-risk investment options and be mindful of your spending habits. Level 3. Financial stability. As you reach level 3, you've moved past merely surviving and are now in a position to thrive. At this stage, you're no longer living paycheck to paycheck and you have achieved a degree of financial comfort. So, what characterizes this level? Financial stability means you have built up a safety net. You have accumulated savings that can cover several months of living expenses. This is your emergency fund, and it's an essential component of financial stability. Having an emergency fund provides you with a cushion in case of unexpected expenses or financial setbacks, such as a medical emergency, car repair, or temporary job loss. This financial cushion can help you avoid falling into debt or financial crisis when life throws you a curveball. One of the key milestones in level 3 is the ability to save regularly and consistently. You've established a habit of setting aside a portion of your income for savings and investments. This might include contributing to retirement accounts like a 401k or an IRA, saving for major life goals like buying a home or building your investment portfolio. Additionally, this level is also characterized by a basic understanding of investing. You're starting to put your money to work for you through investments in assets like stocks, bonds, or real estate. This can help your wealth grow over time as your investments generate returns. Financial stability also means you're actively working on reducing any high-interest debts you may have accumulated. This includes paying off credit card debt, which can be a significant financial burden. As you reduce your debt, you free up more of your income for saving and investing. Furthermore, this level involves being proactive about your financial goals. You've likely set financial goals that extend beyond simply covering your living expenses. These goals could include saving for retirement, a down payment on a home, or even starting a small business. You're taking steps to plan for the future, making informed decisions about your money, and actively working towards achieving your objectives. Level 4. Financial freedom. Level 4 marks the transition from financial stability to financial comfort. You're not just getting by, you're thriving. Your investments have started to pay off, and you have a comfortable margin in your budget for discretionary spending and indulgences. This level signifies that you've moved beyond merely being stable and secure. You now have the means to live life on your terms. The hallmark of Level 4 is that your investments generate enough passive income to cover your living expenses. You are no longer dependent on a traditional job for your livelihood. You may have income streams from various sources, such as rental properties, dividends from stocks, or returns from your business ventures. This financial independence provides you with the freedom to choose how you spend your time, where you live, and the work you engage in. You might decide to work on projects that truly resonate with your passions and values, rather than just for the paycheck. In many cases, achieving financial freedom involves a considerable amount of savings and investment. You may have accumulated a substantial nest egg, often in the form of a retirement fund. This nest egg not only covers your immediate living expenses, but also allows for a comfortable lifestyle. The exact amount required to reach this level varies depending on your living expenses, desired lifestyle, and investment returns. Moreover, your diversification through your different investments and savings helps spread risk and ensures your investments can provide consistent income over the long term. Level 5. Financial security. Financial security marks a substantial leap in your financial journey. At this stage, you have moved beyond merely being financially stable and have fortified your wealth to ensure your long-term financial well-being. One of the defining features of financial security is having a well-rounded financial plan that extends beyond your immediate needs. You've not only saved for emergencies and set up a comfortable retirement fund, but you've also considered healthcare, insurance, and estate planning. This level of financial planning ensures that you're protected against life's uncertainties, from medical expenses to unforeseen accidents. Your financial security also extends to your investments, as you've likely diversified your portfolio to reduce risk and maximize returns. You're engaging in thoughtful asset allocation, investing in various sectors, and possibly exploring other alternative investments. You're not merely relying on passive income for daily expenses. You're continuing to grow your wealth. Moreover, at this level, you have a deeper understanding of taxation and how to optimize your finances to minimize your tax liabilities. You might be taking advantage of tax-advantaged accounts and strategies to retain more of your earnings, ensuring that you can preserve and grow your wealth over time. Finally, this level also provides you with the freedom to explore a broader range of life goals and experiences. You can travel extensively, explore new hobbies, and invest in personal development. You're not just financially secure, you're able to lead a fulfilling and meaningful life. Level 6. Financial independence. Financial independence is a significant achievement in your financial journey. At this stage, you've reached a point where you're not only financially secure, but also have the freedom to live life entirely on your terms. It is the stage where the wealth you have built allows you to retire or leave your traditional job without compromising your lifestyle. You've reached a point where your passive income streams, investments, and assets generate enough to cover all your expenses comfortably. You're no longer tied to a 9-to-5 job, and you have the time and resources to do what truly inspires and fulfills you. This level often requires a substantial amount of wealth, built through smart investments, savings, and financial planning. Your investments are diverse and well managed, providing you with a stable source of passive income. You might have investments in real estate, stocks, bonds, and possibly entrepreneurial ventures that continue to grow and provide returns. With financial independence comes the opportunity to explore more significant and fulfilling life goals. You can take on passion projects, start a charitable foundation, or invest in endeavors that truly align with your values. Additionally, you are able to optimize your financial portfolio for growth while managing risk. You may have experts or advisors helping you make strategic financial decisions that maximize the returns on your investments. Level 7. Financial abundance. At this level, your wealth has grown significantly, and you're not just financially secure, you're abundant. At this stage, you're not just financially independent, you're exceptionally prosperous. Your investments, business ventures, or other income sources generate substantial wealth that goes far beyond covering your living expenses. You have the financial freedom to indulge in luxury experiences, travel to exotic destinations, and enjoy an opulent lifestyle. Financial abundance is often associated with a sense of abundance in various aspects of life. You have the resources to support your personal goals, including your hobbies, interests, and passions. This might involve collecting art, acquiring luxury assets, or participating in high-end experiences such as fine dining and exclusive travel. The management of financial abundance is a crucial aspect as it involves sophisticated financial planning, tax optimization, and wealth preservation strategies. Achieving this level involves a combination of sophisticated financial planning, high-yield investments, and a commitment to making a significant impact on the world. Level 8. Financial legacy. At the highest level of wealth, you leave a lasting legacy for future generations. This level represents the pinnacle of financial achievement and impact. At this level, your wealth extends beyond personal abundance to create a profound and lasting legacy. One of the key features of this highest level of wealth is the establishment of a multi-generational financial legacy. Your wealth is not just for you, it's for your children, grandchildren, and beyond. Estate planning, trusts, and other financial instruments ensure that your family can enjoy financial abundance for generations to come. A comprehensive approach to wealth management is crucial at this level. Achieving a financial legacy is a deeply purpose-driven stage in your financial journey. It's about making a difference that extends far beyond your own lifetime, leaving a mark on the world and ensuring that your wealth is used to create a better future for generations to come. Each level represents a unique milestone in one's financial journey, offering distinct opportunities, challenges, and responsibilities. The pursuit of financial success is not only about personal abundance, but also about the legacy one leaves behind, shaping a better future for future generations.